Welcome back, everyone. Ready for another deep dive?
Always ready.
Awesome. So today we're going to be looking at something, it might not sound like the most fun topic, but it's important. Discipline.
Discipline.
Yeah. And specifically how discipline, plays a role in faith and how we grow. We're going to be talking about, well, we're looking at a devotional text. It's based on that verse, Hebrews 12.11.
Okay.
And that's a passage that basically just says that, like, discipline leads to righteousness and peace.
Yeah.
And I don't know about you, but like when I think of discipline, like peace isn't exactly the first thing that pops into my head,
Right.
So we're going to kind of like unpack that a little, see if there's some truth in there, see if it maybe connects to things you've experienced too,
Well, I think what's interesting is that, this text wasn't just written out of nowhere. It was written for a very specific audience, who were dealing with some very real struggles.
Yeah. So give us some of that context, like paint the picture for us. Who are these people that this is written to?
Okay, so imagine you're part of this early Christian community, and your beliefs aren't just like unpopular, they're actually dangerous. You could face persecution, you could be isolated from your community. I mean, the stakes were pretty high.
Wow.
Yeah, and the author of Hebrews is writing to these people, and the message about discipline, it's not about, like punishment or anything. It's about resilience. It's about refining their faith under pressure.
So even if most of us today, thankfully aren't facing that kind of, persecution, we all have, stuff we go through, times when things are tough, and it tests our, our strength, how strong we are.
Exactly. And the text uses a really powerful image to kind of illustrate that process, refining gold.
Yeah.
Imagine, okay, you have a piece of gold, raw gold. It's unrefined. That's kind of like us, before we faced any discipline, and the challenges that we face, they're like that fire, the fire that kind of melts away all the impurities in the gold. And then what you're left with is the real value underneath.
Yeah, I get that analogy, but I think for a lot of people, I'll include myself in this too, the word discipline, like especially when we're talking about, faith and religion and stuff, it can seem kind of negative,
Yeah, and that's where the devotional makes like a really key point. It emphasizes that discipline from God, it's not coming from a place of anger, it comes from love. It's not about punishing you, it's about, showing you the way, it's about helping you, become the best version of yourself that you can be.
So it's kind of like how when a parent sets boundaries for their kid. It's not because they want to control the kid, it's because they want what's best for them in the long run.
Exactly. It's about that, the bigger picture. Think about an athlete who's training for some kind of competition. And the training's intense, it's, got to make sacrifices. But the goal, right, is to win. Right. So in the same way, spiritual discipline might mean you got to put in some effort. It might even be a little painful sometimes. But the reward at the end, is huge. Righteousness, inner peace, a deeper connection to something bigger than yourself.
It's funny you say that athlete thing, because I think we all relate to that, at some level, that idea of like pushing yourself even when it's hard to reach some goal. And it does, like, whether it's, training for a marathon or like learning something new, or even just like, sticking to your budget every month, that kind of discipline, it does lead to like, you feel good about yourself.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And it's not just about like clenching your jaw and just like forcing your way through it either. I mean, the devotional also, it highlights how important it is to pray, to ask for strength, ask for guidance, from a power that's bigger than you are.
Yeah, that's, what, that really connects with me, because I've definitely had like times in my life where, it just felt like too much.
Yeah.
And prayer, for me, it really has been that thing, that connection to something bigger that helps me to see things differently, get a new perspective.
And that's really what it's all about, isn't it? That idea that discipline, even when it's hard, it's not about punishment. It's about changing. It's about, leaning into those hard times, trusting that it's all part of a process that's going to lead you to a better place, to growth, to peace.
Doing this deep dive, I really do. I feel like I understand discipline differently now. It's not just about willpower or denying yourself things. It's about, looking at those difficult things as as chances to grow, to become a better person, and to find that, that deep down peace we all want,
Beautifully said, really. And that kind of leads us to a question for everyone listening. How can you look at the challenges in your own life, through this lens of discipline? Can you see those struggles not just as things to get past, but as chances to become stronger,
Right.
more resilient, a better version of yourself?
That's a good question to think about. And for anyone who wants to go deeper into all of this, we really do recommend checking out the full devotional text. It's called The Peaceful Fruit of Discipline.
Oh.
Lots of good insights in there. It can really, help you to think differently about the hard stuff in life and help you discover, the power that comes from discipline. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks, everyone.